Hey guys, want to show your support to the channel and get some awesome rewards at the same time? Then go check out my Patreon page where at whatever tier you choose that fits your budget, you'll get plenty of rewards such as updates and announcements on the regular, exclusive sneak peeks of my videos before they go up online, get yourself credited, and receive a special shout out at the end of my videos and more. Go to patreon.com/Ackleyattack427's to start pledging today. And don't forget to also check out and consider gifting me any items I have listed on my Amazon wishlist and even supporting me on my Streamlabs tipping page that'll also help support the channel directly. Links are in the description box below as well as on my link tree for you to check out. Thank you and enjoy today's video. Take care. Hey guys, like what we do on our channel and want to see more videos from us? Then not to worry about a thing. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as turning on the notification bell so that way you can see more of our videos coming up very soon. Thank you and enjoy today's video. Hey guys, this is Ackleyattack4427 here with a brand new thoughts video for all of you guys, and boy, I'm even quite surprised as much as you are after right around yesterday with, of course, me giving you one thoughts video. Literally the next day comes around and I'm giving you another thoughts video for sure. I mean, I didn't intend to actually do this in the first place, but hey, I gotta give you guys a little something to help fuel this channel for sure, So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. And, well, I guess it's after yesterday, by the time I'm recording this, that I actually had a really great time with, of course, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, which was a whole lot of fun. Looks like I managed to bridge the gap with, of course, another movie that I actually got the chance to see very recently for sure, so yeah. And I know it's not my first time actually doing this kind of thing for sure, but again, I need to do something to really help bridge the gap by far, and yeah, I didn't intend to actually do this in the first place, but hey, I gotta give you guys something for sure, so I guess there's that, so yeah. And I guess pretty much of anything, pretty much in the subject of today's movie, I guess a lot of you guys are thinking, what am I going to be covering next for sure? Well, surprisingly enough, yeah, I think usually, pretty much throughout most of this year, I've delved into some new territory when it comes to some movies I've actually seen for sure. So I guess for today's thoughts video for sure, I figured that maybe we should probably talk about something a little different for once. And luckily enough for today's movie we're going to be talking about, it's actually more on the lines of a certain genre that pretty much you may or may not be familiar with, which is of course a mockumentary. Yeah. I think it would get you the idea, of course, what we're talking about for sure, so yeah, pretty much of anything, a mockumentary, in case a lot of you guys pretty much may not know, is basically a movie that actually acts like a documentary for sure, but still has the functionality of course, a regular movie as you expect for sure, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I really do love a good documentary every once in a while, but I say a good mockumentary is, of course, a really good way to, you know, keep this balance for sure that I really do think has a lot going for from what I can gather, so yeah. And I know I haven't really delved into some mockumentaries for sure, but that's about to change with, of course, the movie I'm going to be talking about here today, and well, I guess for the subject of this movie we're going to be talking about, maybe I think it's about time that we get out our guitars and actually pretty much play a nice little gig on Stonehenge. Yeah, I think it would pretty much get you the idea, of course, what I'm talking about for sure, so But in case you're actually quite curious, I think that will culminate in, of course, today's movie that I actually got the chance to see very recently, which is none other than Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues. So yeah, that's of course what I'm going to be talking about here today. Not only is this the latest film that just came out not too long ago, but it's also the sequel to the well-known mockumentary from well back in the 80s, that being of course, well, Spinal Tap, or I guess if you prefer to go by its full title, This is Spinal Tap. So yeah, it's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Alrighty then, well, before I could go ahead and talk about this latest movie, I think it makes sense for me to, you know, brush myself up, of course, on, well, Spinal Tap in a nutshell for sure, so yeah, I think with, of course, with what I've actually seen by far, the Rob Reiner mockumentary that came out, well, back in 1984, definitely needs no introduction whatsoever, and yeah, pretty much for what it is, I really do think it really is well worth the watch, in my opinion, and truly, I think a really great one by far. I think with, of course, a really interesting concept that really culminate the story for, of course, this one for sure, to, of course, the pretty much characters portraying real life people as if this was a real documentary for sure. And even some comedic moments and some nice music every once in a while actually does make it a really great time for sure. So yeah, I guess pretty much of anything, a lot like everyone else, since after I viewed it for myself, I really do think Spinal Tap is actually a really fantastic movie for sure, and truly one that's definitely well worth the recommendation, of course, on my front for sure. And plus, if you're like me and you actually got the DVD version of that movie, you would definitely know it actually has one of the best DVD menus ever made for sure, so yeah, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Yeah, pretty much of anything, the original Spinal Tap is definitely well worth the watch, and I really do think it's actually a really fantastic movie for sure. So I guess given to that front alone, I'm quite curious to see on how the sequel will actually do for sure, because, well, I know a lot of people haven't really demanded a sequel to, of course, this movie for sure, but based on what I've actually seen by far, I got quite curious to see on how it's gonna fare up in such a way for sure. So yeah. So luckily enough, I did manage to find a pretty much a screening of that movie over at Regal Cinemas down in Binghamton for sure, and of course, pretty much of anything through that, I was able to get myself in to officially see this movie for myself, and well, now that I've officially got out of course, seeing this movie, I guess a lot of you guys may be wondering, what do I think of this movie now that I finally got the chance to see it? Well, I guess for what it is, I think it's fine for sure, so yeah, I can't necessarily say it's by all means great, but not terrible either for sure. I just find it to be a pretty decent enough sequel to the original Spinal Tap for sure, and yeah, surprisingly enough, it does have pretty much some really interesting moments and some fun surprises around each quarter for sure, and yeah, give it to what I've actually seen. I think it was worthy enough for me to say, yeah, I did have a good time seeing it, so yeah, that's pretty much what I can say about this movie in a nutshell for sure. It's not great, but not terrible either. Just a decent enough sequel for what it is, but I wouldn't be lying if I said that I actually did have a good time seeing this one for sure, so yeah, it's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Alright. Alrighty then, well, now that I've officially got the short version out of the way, I guess I'll go ahead and talk about everything that I need to talk about for sure. For starters is, of course, the story, and yeah, I think pretty much for what it is, I really do think the story in this movie is structured out fine for sure. In fact, pretty much if anything, I do know there might be a few holes and stuff that it might have actually created for sure that did kind of prevent it from being any good. But at the same time, though, I really do think they really have a lot going for hands down, and actually does have some moments that actually are quite interesting when you really take a good glimpse at it for sure. And yeah, either way, I think pretty much, if anything, I really do find myself intrigued in such a way at a good number of moments for sure. I mean, yeah, I think some of them could have been a little bit better than what I was hoping for, hands down, but some moments in them that actually do work are actually quite fascinating when you really think about it for sure. So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say for the story, and of course, this movie for sure. Now, as for the writing, I have to say, yeah, that too alone is fine for what it is for sure. Again, I do kind of felt there are some parts in it that aren't actually written quite as strong as I hoped it would be, but a few others I will have to say I really do think are actually quite nice for sure, and I can tell there's a whole lot of commitment and effort being put into, of course, this one for sure, and I really do think this movie actually did a fine job on, of course, that front. Not necessarily spectacular in a way, but still fine for what it is for sure. So yeah. And I'll give it credit that for while I think, for I guess a few comedic moments here and there, for while not everything hits the ball out of the park for sure, I will give it credit that it did give me a good chuckle every once in a while for sure, and yeah, I think it's actually done alright for sure. Again, could have been a whole lot better, but I really do think they have a lot going for hands down, so yeah, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. So yeah, I guess pretty much if anything for the story, the writing, and a few comedic moments here and there, for while not everything lands perfectly, hands down, and there are several parts in it that I think could have been a whole lot better than what I was hoping for. I can tell there's a bit of effort being put into it, and I'll give them credit for trying their best to make it look great for sure. So yeah, it's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Alright. Alrighty then, well, now that I've officially got those out of the way, I guess I'll go ahead and talk about the next couple of things I need to talk about for sure, to which next up is, of course, the characters, and yeah, I guess pretty much if anything for the characters, I will have to say, like I said, seeing how this is a mockumentary for sure, they really still want to have all the bullet points of a regular movie, but want to actually try to make it pretty much have the look and feel of an actual documentary for sure. So I guess for the characters depicted as the real people being covered in this movie, I really do think they are developed quite alright for sure, and I can tell there is a bit of a development with each and every single one of them to actually make them likable and interesting for sure, and I really do acknowledge, of course, there are flaws and stuff that they need to overcome for sure, and yeah, I really do think yeah, and I think the best part about it is that the majority of them throughout the course of this movie, I really do think they've actually grown ever since we last saw them in the original for sure, and yeah, and for a while I guess I will admit, for a while I think some parts of it I do kind of felt they're pretty much a little out of their element for sure, but I can still give them credit for still giving everything they've got to still making great for sure, and yeah, I think that's fine on my book. No real harm done whatsoever, so So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front hand. And I guess for the actors that came on board to play all these characters, I think they pulled off some pretty fine performances, in my opinion, that I really do think they really want to give everything they've got for sure, and yeah, I really do applaud them for still giving everything they got for sure. It's not by all means great from what I've actually seen, but I do think it's actually fine nonetheless, and I really do admire what they've actually done a whole lot to really make this movie work, in my opinion. So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say pretty much on that aspect for sure. So yeah, I guess pretty much if anything for the characters and the actors for sure, for all I think some of them could have been a little bit better, in fact, most of which are a little out of their element for sure. I do admire what they've actually done to not only make the characters developed quite well, but the actors as well, giving everything they got with their performances hands down. So yeah. It's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Alright. Alrighty then, well. Yeah, now that I've actually got those two out of the way, what else is there for me to talk about for sure? Well, quite a whole lot, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I think pretty much next up for the production and design, of course, of this movie. Yeah, I will have to say, I really do think they did a real bang-up job with, of course, with the production and design for, of course, this movie for sure. I think with, of course, what they've actually done to really make this movie look good, I really do think they really nailed it, in my opinion. That I really do think actually stand out quite well for sure. I can tell with, of course, each location they've actually picked out, to the way pretty much each set piece is actually built and stuff. I really do feel like they really have a whole lot going for hands down to make it look like something that you would actually see in an actual rock and roll documentary for sure. And yeah, I really do admire on what they actually did for sure. Like, of course, pretty much of anything, you really do feel that pretty much the band themselves are in the recording studio prepping everything before their concert for sure. And when we get to that, hands down, you really do feel like they're actually there for sure. So yeah. I really do admire on what they actually did with the production and design, of course, this movie, and I really love on what they actually did for sure to really make this look good, and they accomplished that quite well. I think it really does really help keep the love and spirit of the original Spinal Tap alive for sure, and yeah, I really do think they really did a bang-up job, of course, that front for sure, and yeah, that's one thing that's definitely one thing that I can give this movie credit for, hands down. They really nailed it out of the ballpark, so yeah. And of course, for the music, and of course, this in this movie, yeah, that alone, I will have to admit, I do have to think they are actually quite fine for sure. I mean, granted, they're not great songs from what I've actually seen for sure, but I can tell there's a bit of effort being put into, of course, this one, and I really do admire on what they actually did to really make it stand out quite well for sure, and that's something I really do admire the most for, of course, this movie for sure, and I really do think they really did everything they got to make it sound good for sure. That really ties into what goes on throughout the course of this movie for sure. So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Now, as for the direction, of course, of this movie, well, that alone, I will give it credit. It is, of course, fine for what it is, for sure. Yeah, I can definitely tell that, much like with what he did in the first film, Rob Reiner actually is really giving everything he's got in directing this movie for sure. And for while it doesn't actually land pretty much laid itself out of the ballpark for sure. I can tell he actually did put a whole lot of effort being put into really make this movie stand out quite well for sure. And yeah, pretty much of anything, I really do think he really had a whole lot going for hands down while making this movie, and I really do admire, yeah, I really do admire his commitment nonetheless. So yeah. And of course, for the cinematography, I have to say, my God, I will have to admit, I really do think the cinematography in this movie is absolutely outstanding for sure. Yeah, I think with, of course, each and every camera shot they actually providing for sure. Yeah, you can tell they really put in a lot of hard-working effort to really make it stand out for sure. And again, it almost does kind of feel like pretty much, it does have the look and the feel of a documentary for sure, to which, yeah, I guess that's definitely the one thing I do admire about mockumentaries for sure, even though pretty much it's entirely fictional for sure. They really want to make the cinematography look great, almost like pretty much looking like it has the look and the feel of an actual documentary for sure. And I really do think this movie, much like with what they did in the original, actually accomplished that quite well. So yeah, either way, I really do admire on what they actually did with the cinematography in this movie for sure. They really did a bang-up job, of course, that front for sure. And I really do admire on what they actually did for sure. So yeah, and of course the A-ing I have to say, yeah, that alone I think I will have to say is alright, of course, on my front for sure. It is cut up decently from what I can gather to really match, of course, what flows out throughout the course of this movie for sure. And even does match with the pretty decent pacing as well, to which that too alone is also done fine for sure. So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front for sure. So yeah, I think with what I've actually mentioned, I think it will get you the idea on how I actually feel about this movie as a whole. So yeah, it's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Alright. Alright, so I guess with all that said and done, that's pretty much everything that I can say about this movie as a whole. So yeah, overall, Spinal Tap 2, for while I can't necessarily say it's by all means a great movie, but not terrible either, I really do think is actually a pretty decent follow-up to, of course, the original Spinal Tap, that for while it does have some moments that I really do think doesn't really land itself pretty much the bullseye for sure. It really does have some good stuff in it that did make it want to try to make it look pretty much look quite interesting for sure. And I guess given to that front, for while I can't necessarily say it's bad or at least good, I did have a decent enough time, and yeah, pretty decent flick from what I could gather, but I did have a good time seeing it, as it did intrigue me in such a way for sure. So yeah, I can't necessarily say it's actually on par with the original for sure, but I really do think they have a whole lot going for to make it stand out, and I really do admire on what they actually did for sure. So yeah. Pretty much of anything, it could have been a whole lot better than what I was hoping for, hands down, but I really do admire the effort they put into it to really make it stand out for sure. So yeah, I guess given to what I've actually mentioned, I guess it is worth the recommendation on my front for sure, and given to what I mentioned about this movie, that's okay in my book, hands down for sure, and yeah, like I said, it's not by all means great, but not terrible either. I do think it's decent enough for what it is, but I'm glad I actually saw it for what it is for sure, and that's okay in my book, hands down. So So yeah, not necessarily the film that will crank itself up to 11 like pretty much the band themselves playing their music, but still gave us something that's definitely well worth the watch regardless, hands down. So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. So yeah, for my final score, yeah, I'll be fair on, of course, this one, and I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10 as my final score. Like I said, I can't necessarily say it's by all means great, but it's not terrible either. I really do think it's a fine enough sequel for what it is to the original, and given to what I've actually mentioned, that's okay in my book, hands down. So yeah, not necessarily the one that I will always turn to for sure, but I guess if anything, I know I'll stick to the original Spinal Tap for sure. And like I said, my DVD copy of that movie I currently own as of now still has one of the best menus I've actually seen for sure. Definitely look it up. I'm not lying when I say it. I know I'm right when I said that Spinal Tap actually has the best DVD menu for sure. Definitely look it up. So yeah, but if you are quite curious to actually see it for yourself, then, well, grab your guitar and actually play pretty much a nice little song, of course, Stonehenge, to actually see this movie for yourself. So yeah, it's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Alright, so I guess with all that said and done, that's pretty much everything that I can say about this movie as a whole. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this latest thoughts video, and by all means, I want to ask all of you guys, what do you think of Spinal Tap 2 if you've actually seen it for yourself? Do you absolutely really enjoy it? I think it's a worthy enough follow-up to the original, or do you absolutely hate it and prefer to stick with the original on its own? Or are you like me, and you're somewhere in between, of course, this one, where you think it's just a decent enough sequel for what it is? So yeah, let me know down in the comments down below on what you thought of this movie if you've actually seen it for yourself. I would love to know on what you guys think. So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Thank you guys so much for watching this latest thoughts video, and well, I guess pretty much it may be a while before I'll actually catch the next movie for sure, but hey, hopefully, depending on which one I'll actually go see next, I do hope it'll give you something quite interesting for sure. But for now, I think I'm gonna stick to making regular old videos as usual for sure, right up until something's come up for sure. But until that actually happens, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Special thanks to all of my supporters on Patreon for making today's video possible, including my top tier supporters for this month, VD. So if you want to be like these guys and show your support to us, then go to patreon.com/Ackleyattack427's to pledge now, do so, and get some awesome rewards within your budget. Hey guys, this is Ackleyattack4427 here. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Feel free to like, comment, and share if you enjoy what you're seeing. If you like what you see here and want to see more videos coming up, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and switch on the notification bell to get notifications, and select all notifications to be notified for when we post a new video. And don't forget to switch on notifications on your phone as well. Also, don't forget to check out my second channel and our 2-member channel with Sam the Thomas Fan 1, SamAttack4427 Productions, for plenty more content you can't find on here. You can check both of our channels out with the links or by our handles provided on screen. Feel free to shoot me an email with my email address provided, backley95@hotmail.com, if you want to ask me a question, want to collab with me for a project you've got in the works, or if you want to book me to be featured for a convention coming up. Follow me on my social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to keep up to date with me on updates, announcements, and new releases of my videos, as well as plenty of others I've got with my handles provided, as well as the links down in the description box below. Also, don't forget to follow me on TikTok for other videos I've got aside from the ones I've posted on YouTube, and on Twitch for any future live streams I've got coming up soon, as well as join our official Discord server to see what we've provided. If you wish to show your support to me, then feel free to check out my Patreon to get sneak peeks of my videos coming up before they go up online, as well as getting access to updates and playing more, in addition to getting some awesome rewards within your budget. Also, don't forget to check out and show your support to me on my wishlist on Amazon, and even supporting me at streamlabs.com/Ackleyattack427's/tip that you can find in the description box below, as well as on my Twitch page. And in case you can't find any of the links that are provided, then not to worry about a thing. All the links and stuff are also provided on my link tree that you can also find in the description box below, as well as a few selected number of my social media pages. Other than that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be sure to see you in the next video. Take care.